Hello, hello. Hi, Val. Hey, piano to the simplest. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Ayakame. It's a brand new month, 1st of September. Hey, Frog. Frog, doing? Just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. You can see me all right. I was messing around with the streaming platform, so just making sure that I didn't screw anything up. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Okay, good. Hey, Diana. Um, to the simplest. Send me a message on Discord. I have not replied yet. Is I did not see that message. To send it again. Please send it again. I did not see that message. And also, I'm terrible with. I'm very new on Discord, so please send that again. Sorry about that, but send it again. Right, we'll give it a couple of minutes. And for everyone who is in Singapore, I hope you, hey, if you're in Singapore, drop a message, say hi, let me know. I hope you cast your vote. It is the presidential election today, well, polling day today. So I hope you put in your vote already. All right. So if you're in Singapore, if you cast your vote, don't tell me what you vote. Your vote is secret, but I hope you did that. It is a public holiday here in Singapore, so but I'm still here for you guys. All right. Thank you, Barbara. All right. Thanks for that piano. Sorry about that again. 2 more minutes and we shall get started. It is the 1st of September. It is non-farm Friday. We do have the non-farm live trading session later tonight, 8 p.m. GMT plus 8. So do make sure you tune in for that. Give it a moment. 1 more minute. Hope you've all been well. Hey, Cheryl. Yes, I am. I am. I've been traveling around a bit. Everyone calls me or when they talk to me about different projects, they're like, where are you now? In Singapore? Are you here? Are you there? Yes, I'm in Singapore at the moment. Get going in a minute. All right. Anyone caught the euro trade last night? 50 pips to the downside. Hope you caught the euro. Good morning, Carsten. How are you doing? I do know it's very early in the morning for some of you guys, so I appreciate the 100% effort in tuning in as a regular as well. So good to see you guys. Okay, so let's get started. Daily market analysis. It is the 1st of September. So good to see you guys. If you are new to the session, drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. I want to find out. For all the regulars, big welcome back. Thank you for choosing to set aside this 1 hour and spending it with me. I really appreciate that. During this market analysis, what we'll be doing is looking at the fundamentals in terms of what happened last night since the last time we spoke. What's coming up? We do have the non-farm payrolls today. Then we look at technicals in terms of where price is, where price could head towards. Then the possible trade setups. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free, put it into the chat. Let me know. And if you can help me out massively, do click that like and subscribe button on YouTube, the little rocket ship button on TradingView, and also that hand clappy icon on trading.live. Let's just test the algorithm. Let's see whether I can get more people onto the session. And if you haven't already, the Discord channel link is there. Look forward to seeing you on Discord, because it's where we take our discussions beyond this 1 hour session. As I look into any trades, or I look at any possible setups, or if I'm managing my trade as well, I'll be sharing with you about that on the Discord channel. Okay. Carsten did the Euro, looks like it, very good. Bell did Euro on a demo, was not entirely my setup, but it was great. Very nice. You just came back from a holiday, so it's fair enough, ease back into it. Brand new month. Dotted pound Kiwi and pound dollar, which for my setup. Yeah, pound dollar moved very nicely as well. And good morning, Ismet. How are you doing? Alrighty, so with that, a quick disclaimer. Any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, so please do your own due diligence. Like what Val is doing, she looks at her own setup, then she looks at my setup. If it coincides, maybe get onto the trade. If it doesn't coincide, maybe test it out, maybe learn from it, or just forget about it. Look at your own setups. So use what we do here to complement with your own analysis and your own setups. This is not a signal service. This is really sharing with you my thoughts and views about the markets, what I'm doing, what I'm looking at, sharing with you those points of view. Okay, your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Hi, Spiros, how are you doing? And as I've been doing this session for many months now, almost, I don't think we got to a year, but many months now, all the regulars here are really good trading. It's almost like a trading family. So do join the Discord channel, join the family, join the trading family. All right. Hey, Angel Case, how you doing? Hi, Matic, good to see you. Hey, Lenny, good morning. With that, let's get straight into it. Last night we did have, since we spoke, where it was like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. when we ended the session, we had the Euro CPI number at 5 p.m. GMT plus 8, where it was released. Did show a bit of a slowdown from 5.5, expected 5.3, came out at 5.3 for the core CPI flash estimate year on year. And for the CPI flash estimate year on year, 5.3 did not drop 5 to 5.1, it stayed at a 5.3. However, with that slowdown in core CPI and no change in the CPI itself, what we saw on the euro dollar on that news release that was at 5 p.m., which was there. All right. So if we did see the CPI number go to 5.1, I think we would have seen a stronger drop on the euro dollar. But because we had one CPI not with no change and one core CPI with a drop, what we actually saw was a brief push down on the euro dollar before it's outside of the Bollinger. There we go. Okay, it was outside of Bollinger, so it tapped this level, bounced back up, and then slowly traded to the downside. All right, this was a trade that I very uncharacteristically got into during the session. I was seeing it drop, and then I went, hang on a second, I went onto my laptop screen here and got into the trade. So that was a live trade that we got in during the session. I think a couple of you did jump onto that. On Discord, as it came down to that 50% level, I highlighted out, I think as it dropped, I was saying I moved my stop loss to break even. So I told you guys move my stop loss to break even. As it came down to that 50% level, I was saying, hey, you could look to get out at about 30 pips. I held on to the trade. It went down, hit that point. I think I updated at 10 o'clock that it would have hit your take profit level on the euro dollar for about 50 pips. There was about 50. We had it about 51, but it closed out at about 50 for me. I got in a little bit as it was pushing down. Okay, so that worked out very well. If you guys did get into that, do let me know. And then why we actually saw that drop at later on, why we actually saw this drop later at that 8-9 o'clock time was because the core PCE price index for the US was released. This is a month-to-month number staying at 0.2%. Unemployment claims went from 232K, scroll it down a little bit, 232K, expected 236, came out at 228, right? So it's a bit odd that it shows it was a good number. I would say that it's a good number, but it's not fantastic. Right? From 236 to 228, not a super good number, but a little bit better than expected, and that's why at 8 p.m. right there, we saw this push down a little bit before closing back up, and we saw the dollar index trade a little bit higher. Okay, so that was the news from last night. Any questions so far? Hi Bia, how are you doing? Smart Express said I'm in buys, pound, yen, and gold. I will get to that shortly. Just remind me if I missed out on that. Okay. Now, with all that said, then today is Friday, the 1st of September. We are looking, we did have at 2:30 the Swiss franc. I don't trade the Swiss, but the CPI number went from a minus 0.1 to a 0.2. This is a month-to-month number. I don't think I see that 2 o'clock we saw the Swiss franc strengthen a little bit, push down, possibly because as at 0.2%, we might see the SNB, the Swiss National Bank, take on some action if inflation does continue to climb slightly, but it's just a brief move. With that, on to tonight. So nothing much else, right? We do have some manufacturing PMI numbers to be released for the Eurozone and for the UK, but I'm not super concerned about that. On to 8:30 p.m. where 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, where we do have the Canadian GDP number to be released month to month, going from 0.3 to a minus 0.2. Not particularly concerned, but I probably would not be looking at the US CAD for tonight. The main thing will be the non-farm employment change numbers, 3.5%, looking to stay unemployment rate at 3.5. Non-farm employment change, 187 to 169. Put it into the chat. I do this every month, but put it into the chat. Let me know, what do you think the number is likely to be? I think last month we just went for, is it going to be higher or lower? But I think this month, maybe put it into the chat. Let me know, what do you think the number is going to be? What do you think the number is going to be? We saw, why I asked you that is, we saw on Tuesday, JOLTS jobs openings significantly lower than expected. On Wednesday, we saw ADP being super low as well. Yeah, from memory, we saw ADP being 177 from 194. So what do you think? What do you think? Naim said lower. Well, put a number in there, right? You can say lower or higher. You can put a number in there. Put it into the chat. Let me know, what do you think going to I think we're gonna get consensus. Oh, I have one higher. and Blessed said higher, but I think in general consensus is that it might be lower. Most likely could be lower. That's why I'm asking, how much lower do you think it could be? What do you think the number is going to be? Right? I think put it in. Just keep jamming the numbers in there. But I think that we might even see about a 145 or 140 something number there. All right, 140 something number there. So that might lead to further dollar weakness later on tonight. Again, remember that tonight at 8 p.m. GMT plus 8, we do have a NFP live trading session. Don't miss the trades. We'll be doing live trades during this stream. So if you haven't already, do find me on YouTube. You guys are on YouTube anyway. If you're not on YouTube already, do join me on YouTube. Click that like button so that we get more people onto the session. But I will be streaming in just about 4 hours time at 8 p.m. GMT plus 8 to talk you through and to trade together with you for this news event. Okay, so that's done. And then later at 10 p.m. we do have US manufacturing PMI 46.4, 46.9, could be in that 40. I don't Could be in that 46.9. I don't think it's going to change much. Okay, so the main focus today will be on the non-farm payrolls. Hey, Atir from Belgium, good to have you with us. 120, that's a big low number, or small low number. We're going to see a big move if it comes out at 120. Okay, so with that, then looking at the charts, this is the dollar index. Right, yesterday I was anticipating that it's going to come up to about that range before turning back down. It did not happen. We did have alternate scenarios on the setups, so that's fine. Take that away. The dollar index pushed up beyond that 50% level, but it stays below 61.8. Stays below 1.8. And what's very interesting here is that price action, that rejection, that hour, it looks like it might be pushing back down again. Okay, it looks like it might be pushing back down again. Why I'm hesitating, why I'm pausing a little bit, just thinking whether it's going to push. Yeah, if we talk about a dollar weakness from the NFP, then we might see this push down. So what I'm looking for here on the dollar index, 103. Okay, I would be thinking that if this does push down, we're going to see it, could see it come down towards that 103 level. I think have this line here at 103. This point here at 10. Take this one away. Have this point at 102.80. Let's try this. This works. Try that. 1.8 is right there. Have that as well. I'll look at this point here as a more relevant point. Then because we have 61.8 at those levels here. So 102.80 I like. I'm just considering whether 103.15 would be a reasonable level. Then also I'm thinking whether we could see, that's about 61.8 there. Okay. All right. So if it does break past point, there is a little bit of a risk here. All right, there is a little bit of a risk here on the dollar index, because if it comes down now and fails to break significant, oops, wrong button. It comes down now and fails to break significantly, then we could have again that head and inverted head and shoulder pattern with the neckline right there, right, which could see a big push to the upside. So it's all about, and I'll tell you more about this later during the non-farm session, is that it's all about scenario planning. Okay, so what I would be anticipating here on the dollar index is, this is the 1st of September, right? Dollar index would have to break past this point here. Okay, dollar index will break past 103.45. See further downside towards 103.15. Okay, this is all dependent on the non-farm payrolls later, but I'm looking for the dollar index to break support below 103.45. We could drop to 103.15. If we see a terrible number NFP, we could see 102.80 right there. Okay, so what I'm looking for now is basically dollar index to drop. If it does break this level, we could see it come down to this point. If we see very bad number on the NFP, we could see it break that support to a level. That's all conditional on the non-farm payroll, farm employment change. Right? Any questions on that so far? All good? Let me know. Then, so with this expectation, and I'm, trading. I've traded the non-farm payrolls many times. Almost every month, I'm looking at the non-farm payrolls. I used to scalp it a lot. It used to be one of my biggest return events. And then for a while, it just wouldn't move as planned. So with that, I also wouldn't rule out the chance that we might see a complete reversal, complete change instead of what we expected. Okay, so just stay a bit flexible with that analysis. But more on that later tonight. So I'm looking at this pushing down for the dollar index. Expecting that dollar weakness, then let's look at the charts on, firstly, the Kiwi dollar. Okay, Kiwi dollar on that head and shoulder pattern did not play out, so let's take that away. Now with this level, I'm just checking, and that did not trigger as well, so okay, there I would say that 50% held. I will maintain this view. Break above resistance, breaks up, upside. I'll maintain this view, especially if we expect that dollar weakness to come in play. Yep. So for now, I would still say 6010 to the upside. Carsten is saying reverse is also in my mind. What if it goes up? Will you do that? Yeah. So I will try as much as I can right now to give you the different scenarios. This is on dollar weakness scenario, then dollar strength scenario, like we've been doing over the last previous daily analysis. But then we'll go into more specific levels later tonight, especially if anything changes. Okay, so I'll maintain this view on the Kiwi dollar that we could be looking to buy. I'll find a place. Okay, so, Kiwi dollar, we could be looking to buy it up from 6010, stop loss 30, take profit 80. 5 is reasonable as well. Want to catch that point. You do a little bit less. 5 pip difference, I'm not super concerned. Okay, I'll maintain this view on the Kiwi dollar first. All right, we see how that develops as it breaks, if it breaks. Then onto the Aussie, right? Aussie came so close to break that support, to push down, but with that dollar weakness right now, we see it pushing back up. So let me just take that away. That did not trigger speculative on dollar strength. Right, we did see some dollar strength last night as it pushed up, but did not translate onto the Aussie dollar. In fact, I'm thinking whether this could have a downward potential. So again, very similar to what we were talking about here, right? So this Kiwi dollar is on DXY weakness. Looking at this on DXY strength, possible DXY strength. I still like that analysis. Right, as we were talking before or yesterday, if I were to buy the Aussie up, even at 480, stop loss about 20 pips, take profit. The very best is 50 pips, but you have so many levels and tails to get through. So I'll be a little bit cautious there. However, if you were looking to sell down 6450, maybe a revision to 6450, stop loss 20 pips, see a lot more clear space to the downside, even 40 pips to 60, 70 pips to the downside. Okay, I still like, I'll give that a chance. 6450, 20, 74, 5, 0, 20 to. So now we know that, hey, later on, if we do see that dollar strength or dollar weakness scenario, we know between the Aussie and the Kiwi dollar, we know which one to focus on. All right. Then on to the US yen. Right, US yen, if you did get into that, let me know. Again, 1.8 broke through, so we can take that one away. Remove that. Support level there still holds. It's interesting on the US yen that it looks like that dollar weakness might be able to help the Bank of Japan delay their decision on an intervention. What I'm looking at here is this point, right? This level here and this level here might see the yen drop down to this level before bouncing back up again, which is 144.50. About 144.50, currently at 145.40. Okay, so what I would be looking for here would be, I think that it would be too late if it does break this support. And it might be in, how do I say this? If it's accepting the risk, right? It's understanding and accepting the risk that is going to could come down to this point. What I think could happen here on the, I'm just trying to think of how to tell you guys this, how to translate that thought process into words, is that I think the yen could come down, push, touch this level, bounce back up, then after that possibly go back down, or from here break back up again. I think that's going to happen. Okay. Then looking at this, because of that thought, I'm considering 145.25, 145.25, quite soon. Stop loss is too wide. This will be a scalp. Okay. This is not an H1 kind of trade. This is an M15 kind of trade where you'll be looking for it to break past, and I don't want it to be digressing too much, but you could be looking for it to break past this point, that low. Then you'll be looking to sell down quick 20 something pip, 15, 20, or 1:1 to the downside, hit that support level. Then you could be again looking for a repeat of that move again to the downside. I don't think this is an H1 kind of setup. I think smaller time frame kind of setup, but I'm looking for that move on the dollar yen. Okay. Yeah, I like that. So I think what we're looking for here on the yen will be for it to come down to that 145 region. And you could actually, let's look at that instead. If it comes down to 145, 144.85, was there a question? I didn't get a question there. But yeah, market execution. Dinah is replying to a message, but I don't see that message. Okay, so I'm looking for this, go down to this point. I would consider this level here. Okay, so I'll tell you my thought process here on the dollar yen is that I feel that it's gonna come down towards 145. I'll look for it to break 145 later tonight, sell down on the dollar weakness scenario. Then, and I do think that we might have an upside opportunity here as well. But I'll watch this point for a possible bound. Okay, so this will be a thing to manage later on. Talk about more and to manage later on. So 144.85, stop loss 25, take profit 100, but we'll have to manage that quite close. 144.85, stop loss 5, profit 1. Go. Then, hey Augusto, how are you doing? Onto the pound dollar. Still looking for the upward push. Think Smart Express is buying pound yen up. Gold later. Bell's short on pound. Shorted, not on the short. Okay, shorted pound keep pound dollar. Okay, good pound dollar did come down, so that was Good move. Now pushing back up. Found, I'm pretty sure it found 50%, right? Found 50%, bouncing back up. Again, I would say that, and guys, the regulars probably know that there is some difficulty in predicting all this with the non-farm or with a big news event coming out. And that's also why I want to do a live event together with you guys. Break up from that trend line, push up. Things can change so quickly. 50% right there. That makes sense. I can take that away. That push. Okay, so what I'll be looking for here on the pound dollar, given that it's bounced off 50%, if you got into that trade at that point, great. If not, now wait for it to break past this point. Right, and this trend line, although it broke out, came back in. So I'd say that a little bit of a higher risk, but we could be looking at 1.2710. Stop loss 30 pips, take profit 70, almost 80 pips, 5 pips upside. This levels here, that's 50%. So I like that it goes up, break above that trend line. It'll break 50%. It would also break above 61. So I like that a little bit better. So 1.2710, stop loss 30, take profit 75. Okay, buy 1.710. Yep, stop loss 30, take profits. Yep. Look at the way the dollar index is breaking. It looks like this is going to happen before the non-farm payrolls. And then after that, it's going to get interesting at that point. Very seldom, back in about 2012 to 2008 to 2014, pretty much whenever you look at the non-farm payroll on the non-farm Friday, market sits in that kind of consolidation. But recently, over the last couple of years, we've seen big moves during a non-farm Friday. I typically used to not do anything on a non-farm Friday only until the news event, but right now it looks like there are opportunities for the release. Okay, so that's a pound dollar. Euro dollar did very well. I'm very happy with that. As we were talking, right, I had that down and then looking for that push back up. I hope it goes according to plan because that would be fantastic in terms of confidence, sometimes overconfidence. But right now, what we're looking at is this point here, and it breaks. I like the longs on pound dollar at this moment. Yeah, right. And there is that opportunity here on the euro dollar as well. Right, we did a good 50 pip to the downside, found a good support level at 1.0840. Now, if it does push up, then look at it breaking 23.6. Although I know, and this was 61, although I know that 50% level has broken, here are some of these. But I like how it's coming back to this point. So again, could be looking for this to push up 1.0875. I wouldn't put my stop loss all the way down here at this point. I would say because it's finding that push back up, a 20 pip stop loss, for that 40 pip take profit to the upside would be reasonable. The thing here to consider is, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'm sorry, guys, but it's really the way the non-farm is going to really, right? The question here we'll tackle later on is, if we do see massive dollar weakness, could it come up towards 1.1 again? Right? Could it break above and come up to 1.1? That would massively profitable. Okay, so I'll be looking at 1.0875, stop loss 20, take profit 40 for the time being, and then we can develop that later on. So buy 1.081, terrible my number. 75, 20, retired. 75, stop loss 20, profit 40. Probably need to get a couple of rate boosts. Last me today. Okay, with that, what's your go-to beverage? What's your go-to beverage? Coffees, Red Bulls, apples? Let me know. What do you consume while you're trading? So that's the euro dollar to the upside. I like that. US Swiss franc, inverted head and shoulder, broke above that 50% level, shot up, came up. I don't trade the Swiss franc, but analysis was reasonable. Now it's coming back down, being dragged back down by the dollar weakness. So now what we're looking at here, this is a support level. Breaking down makes sense. Take away all this 20 lines. The funny thing was, I used to only trade on MT4 or MT5. But after a while, all the lines just seem a bit too messy and all that. So now what I do all my analysis on TradingView, click over to MT4, MT5, enter a trade, do my analysis here. I just got so used to the look of TradingView, right? Coffee. There's coffee. Yeah, I used to have too much coffee. D-Train. Hi, how are you doing? Hey, Lydia, how are you doing? D-Train, will you still be streaming on? Yes, I will. I will. Yes, it is there. Check out the reminders on TradingView on Discord. Good morning, OJ. Mids, how are you doing? Okay, so hey guys on YouTube, let me know what's your go-to beverage at trading. For a while I had a bad habit of a gin and tonic, but I ended up trading so much and I had too much gin and tonics. So that one worked out well. Take that away. Pushed it up. Breaks past this point, we could see more downside on the US Swiss franc. Break 38.2. Water and green. Very nice. Very holistic. Okay, so what I'm looking at here on the US Swiss franc, dollar is retracing a little bit, right? I'm looking for this to break that support level to push down. It would be a trade that looks like that. All right, 20 pips at the very most, down here to 50 pips. But then the question would be whether 61.8 or that trend line is going to provide a little bit of resistance. So it's very near. It's very near here. Okay, so I'll be looking at 8795, stop loss 20, take profit 50. However, I do have that trend line and that 8780 level providing some support. So US Swiss franc, we would be looking to sell 0.8759 and 95, sorry. Stop loss 20, take profit, the downside. Okay. It's never too early to have alcohol. I've played golf with a guy who would tee off at 6 a.m. and have a hip flask and have 3 shots of whiskey before he starts. Never too early. All right, so bad habits, guys. Bad habits. Don't learn. US CAD, like I was saying, with the Canadian GDP to be released later, with the non-farm payrolls to be released, we're going to see choppy price action here, because if the GDP number does come out at minus some number, minus 0.2, CAD weakness, right? CAD weakness, we should see the US CAD push up, but weakness in the dollar, potential weakness in the dollar from the non-farm payroll is going to push US CAD down. So it's going to be choppy price action here. I would say that I will maintain this view, right? So it just broke down a little bit before pushing back up. Now trying to go lower again. I would again maintain this view and say that 1.3485, stop loss 25, 30. I don't like this. I don't like this because of the risk to reward, right? And I don't want it to be too near at this point because no real big driver here. So I don't like this because of the risk to reward. This point, but I do think that it could come down, right? So, again, let's check these levels. That's a 50% level that it's broken. 61.8 is there, and the next support is down there, which I'm thinking whether this could be a bit of an interim support, because it broke through. It didn't really have a big swing level here. Maybe what we could be looking at is to sell this down 1.3470, tight stop, right? 40. This would be a 40 pip stop, 80 pip, 90 pip take the downside, right? Why I'm looking at this is because why I have a wider stop here is because of the potential volatility on the Canadian dollar. Is it not head and shoulder? I don't see it. Unless you're talking about an inverted head and shoulder, a very small inverted head and shoulder, but I don't see it. Okay, so I don't see a head and shoulder here. Just at that point where we're going to see some bounce around, because it's grabbing that liquidity, the downside liquidity. Okay, so 1.3475, stop loss 40, take profit 90. Stop loss 40. No, not because of my handicap. I always say I'm a single handicap, single on every hole. Okay, so I'm happy with that. We digress, but time to have some fun. Oh, someone was asking about the pound yen. So looking at the pound yen here, pushing back up. Pound dollar going up is going to drag the pound yen up, right? Pound dollar going up is going to drag the pound yen up. So I do see this pushing higher. Found a nice, good double bottom here. So we could look for this to push back up. Resistance at 23.6 would make sense. Could be looking again. bit tricky because of what the yen could do as well. 184.75, 60. I'll keep it quite tight here at about 30. So about 70 pips to 30 pips. I'll be looking at that for the pound yen just because we're anticipating the pound dollar to push up, so that's going to drag the pound yen up. Okay. Then gold, right, did not break up. So it did not break to the next resistance because we saw some dollar strength come back into play. I would say break above that resistance to push up again, because we are expecting that dollar weakness to come in. So the risk is that we get in a little bit too early, or we think about it a bit too early. 1946 to 95. Okay. Above 1946, reach 95. I'm also considering that possibly completed good retrace about 20. That makes 6 retracement level. Why it came down to this point, bounce, and looks like it might bounce. Okay, so there we'll have it. I want to keep this part really short and sharp because we have the non-farm payrolls coming out. It could change everything massively. This is also why when I said I used to not do anything before the non-farm payrolls, is because it's 4 hours, it's 4.5 hours till the non-farm payrolls. Just imagine if you got into a trade now, you would want to close out before the news, which would mean that you're expecting price to move quickly, and then you have a time deadline. So you have multiple deadlines: stop loss deadline, take profit deadline, your own trading timing deadline, and then you would have a market deadline because you're looking at, I have to close out before 8:30 GMT plus 8. And just puts a little bit too many constraints onto the trade. So the analysis is here, but I would anticipate that it might change as price develops closer towards the news event. Okay, so short and sharp for today. Again, do make sure you join the Discord channel, and I look forward to seeing all of you at the non-farm payroll live trading session. And for all the members on Discord, message is there. Help me out with the accounts, and then I look forward to, hopefully we'll trade well and trade profitably later. Short and sharp. Take care now. Bye bye.